Hello everyone, this is Keith Jackson and welcome to Jack's Math Notebook. In this video, we are going to continue our understanding of how to solve equations with radicals. And as you can see, we have three big examples and they look a little bit different at first blush, but as we work them out, you will see a pattern that emerges which will make these problems a whole lot easier to understand. Now let's take a look at the first big example in which we had 3 times the square root of 2x is equal to 12. All we're going to do first is that we're going to divide by 3. And then after that, then we're going to square both sides. I'm going to show you how it plays itself out. And so first, let us divide both sides of this equation by 3. And when we do that, and here's what happens. These 3 simply cancel out, and we know that 12 divided by 3 will give us 4. And so now what remains is the square root of 2x is equal to 4. And then all we have to do again is square both sides, right? Because if we square both sides, it frees up the 2x. And when we square 4, we get 16, right? And so when we square the square root of 2x, we just get 2x. See, now it's looking a lot easier. And we know that 4 squared is 16. And so now we have 2x is equal to 16. And all we have to do is divide both sides by 2 to free up the x or to get x all by itself. And as you can see, these 2's will cancel out, leaving just x. And we know that 16 divided by 2 will give us 8. And when we check it, right? And so let's go ahead and plug in 8 where we see an x. And so 3 times the square root of 2 times 8, will that give us 12? Well, of course, because we know that 2 times 8 will give us 16. And we know that the square root of 16 will give us 4. And we know that 3 times 4 will give us 12. And let's move on to the second big example in which we have 5 times the square root of 3x is equal to 15. And in this case, we're going to divide by 5, right? Because we want to get that variable close to being alone as possible. So when we divide by 5 right here, we will get 3x is equal to 3. And here's why, because these 5's will cancel out. Again, it will equal to the square x, or I should say the square root of 3x is equal to 3 because see, these 5's again will cancel themselves out. 15 divided by 5 will give us 3. This is why we have this part right here. And all we have to do from here is square the square root, right? And so what is the square of the square root of 3x? Well, it is just 3x. And we know that 3 squared will give us 9. And so now here's what we have. We have an easier equation to work with because we have 3x is equal to 9. And all we have to do is divide both sides by 3 in order to arrive at what x is equal to. And so these 3's will cancel out, leaving just x. And we know that 9 divided by 3 will give us 3. All right, we can check that by saying, okay, well, let's replace x with 3 and see what happens. And then it becomes 5 times the square root of 9. Well, 5 times the square root of 9, will that give us 15? Well, here it is. 5 times the square root of 9, we know that the square root of 9 is 3. 5 times 3 will give us 15. All right, we are done with this one. And let's take a look at 10 times the square root of 9x equals 60. And you already guessed it, we're going to divide both sides by 10. And when we do that, we will get the square root of 9x is equal to 6 because we know that 60 divided by 10 will give us 6. And these 10's right here will cancel themselves out. And now what remains is that all we have to do is square the square root of 9x. And that would free it up and give us 9x. And we know that 6 squared will give us 36. And so now what we have 9x is equal to 36, and we can breathe a sigh of relief because we know that that's easier to solve because all we have to do is divide both sides by 9. And when we do that, these 9's cancel out, just leaving x, and 36 divided by 9 will give us 4. And we can check it by doing it like this. We're going to replace x with 4, right? And so so let's say it like this. 10 times the square root of 9 times 4 is really the same as saying 10 times the square root of 36. And we know that the square root of 36 is 6. And we know that 10 times 6 will give us 60. And this checks out. And you have been given a lot of information. And I wouldn't blame you if you need to pause the video to take a look at these 3 big examples or replay this video as many times you need to gain a deeper understanding of this concept. But in the meantime, please comment, share, like, and subscribe to Jack's Math Notebook for more content. Thank you and goodbye.